welcome to our new Tuesday slot for the Speedway Tavern. And in the news this week, it's getting hot. Fred and Ty look like they might be having a season-long battle in the GPs, and that looks like it might not be as friendly as it once was. All three leagues now, it's getting hot at the top and hot at the bottom. And a last gasp win for Wolves against Paul. That was hot. In other news, it rained, and Matt wears the hat. Welcome again, everybody, in the studio tonight. As per normal, we have Webby. You need to get his camera.
Good evening.
Matt, you don't need to get a hat.
Good evening.
And myself, GA. So is this Tuesday night wear then? Is that what?
No, I didn't really want to be wearing my work clothes on a warm night, so
it's obviously dress down Tuesday.
Dress down Tuesday.
I just thought I fancy a challenge. That's all. So
I think he's just
letting the side down a bit.
Breakdown after what happened at Wolverhampton. Yes.
Well, I wore it last night and it brought luck. So.
Well, you certainly did bring it. That was. Interesting. Well, this is a welcome to our new Tuesday night. I suppose the one thing I did forget in the news, I brought some beer.
Yeah, you didn't forget that, did you?
I'm just waiting for the thud as Chris hits the floor then. So.
Well, you nearly cried last Thursday, didn't you? So
just a bit, yeah.
Just had to realise.
It's not my brand actually, but it'll do.
Well, where shall we start? Well, first of all, there might be some new listeners that are tuning in because it's not normal for us to be on there on a Tuesday. So perhaps, Webby, you could let everybody know how they can participate in the show.
Well, basically, if you're not on Facebook, you need to go to www.srbradio.com, and if you click on chat, you can join in with the chat there, or you can just come to our Facebook page, which is UK Speedway Tavern, or various other Speedway pages and groups. Also on TuneIn, search for SRB Radio.
There we go. And did we collect all the things for the shares last week?
It's already down here.
Right,
Matt can pick the winner.
Because
then we can blame him.
Yeah, of course, that works for me. Yeah, we'll do that in a little while. So, just to let you know, if you share on Facebook, it's like buying a lottery ticket, and we put you in the hat, not that hat.
That's what I bought it.
Is that what you brought it? And we draw a winner out each week, and you're going to get a lovely, wonderful, limited edition.
Well, they're very limited, aren't they? They're very limited, apparently. So.
Well, yeah, I don't.
So limited they don't even exist yet.
Yeah, I believe so. Our friend the T-shirt maker's going to make them for us.
Design is over here, actually.
Right. So we're getting there.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll do that in a few moments. Oh look, the shares are started. See, just a T-shirt, and off they go.
Always want something for free, baby.
Gosh.
Probably Cradley fans.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. Before we get started, actually, I'd like to say a heartfelt thank you to all the people over the past couple of weeks, because obviously the Speedway Tavern went down for a couple of weeks, that came up to me and thanked me for the show and said, when's it going to start, and just basically appreciated what we did. That was really nice, and we really appreciate that, so tar very much. Shall we talk about the GP?
We might as well, yes.
Yeah.
Best place to start, I think. So.
I think so. Well, it was some GP for a start off, wasn't it?
Well, it did start off brilliant, to be fair, but
most of them don't, though, do they?
Prague, in fairness, isn't the best race.
It's very narrow going into the bends, isn't it?
Tends to be a bit dry, I think. But we saw a really cracking final. A couple of controversial decisions in the semi-final, of course.
Yeah.
Nicky Pedersen's exclusion and...
so your take on that?
I've got to be honest, the first time I saw it, I thought Freddie Lingman should have been excluded.
Yeah, it seemed to me
initially.
He gave him a bit of a wallop.
But having seen it back a few times, it's fair to say Pedersen looked for it a little bit, and he didn't have any intention of getting around the corner. He just went down. He's done it before, to be fair. He's made a career out of doing it. It's a shame, really, because
I think it's one of them you've certainly seen given.
Yeah, it's a shame, really, because Nicky rode after his disastrous first round performance, he actually rode a lot better on.
He didn't
not
he? Yeah.
not quite the Nicky of old, but he was certainly a lot more competitive.
There was a few people that you could say that to. I mean, I thought Emil Sayfutdinov.
I thought he was a little bit fortunate in his semi-final. To be fair,
True, but I think overall he rode better.
He rode a lot. Yeah, he rode very
He looked
well.
a bit more
fair,
like the fiery Sayfutdinov of old.
Yeah.
You know? And then of course the final.
You saved the best till last, didn't you?
It was. Well, do you think that it was a bit? You know, I think if Ty had come off, Freddie Lindgren would have been excluded.
More than likely, yeah.
It was. And you got to say, this is a new Freddie Lindgren, isn't it?
I don't know.
I've heard you say to me on occasion in this very boutique that perhaps Freddie Lindgren is too nice a guy to become world champion.
Oh, I don't know. Freddie's always been one for putting it about a bit. One of the good things I've always said about Freddie is that he is prone to sometimes dishing it out, but he doesn't get upset when someone does it back to him. He just takes it on the chin, which is, at the end of the day, there's not many nice, fair riders become world champion, do they? So you have to have that sort of.
You've got to have an edge about you.
You've got to be prepared to be ruthless sometimes and really go where it hurts. And he did that, to be fair. Interesting. I haven't really seen anything from Ty's point of view about him making any comments about the incident. So clearly, he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy.
Yeah.
But I suppose at the end of the day, it's tough racing, and I'm sure if it had been the other way around, Ty would have been just as aggressive on Freddie. So,
I think so.
It swings and roundabouts. Patrick Dudek, you could probably argue, was maybe a little bit too cautious on the last bend. I think probably
chose the wrong line.
Chose the wrong line.
It was obvious what Freddie was going to do, really.
Yeah, but at the moment, Freddie looks he really looks like a man on the mission this season.
He just doesn't.
When you consider that a few months ago he was lying in a Manchester hospital with a broken neck. So,
but I mean, you could say the same on not broken neck,
broken neck, but a injury.
Jason Doyle, the season previously, came back from a really bad injury.
Yeah.
So maybe there's just something about letting that happen again. I'm
struggling a little bit though at the moment, and he was better on Saturday, but
it's not unusual for the world champion, the current world champion, to not have a great season afterwards. I mean, Jason Trump did the same.
I'm trying to think actually how many riders have won the world championship and then defended it at the first attempt. The only one I can think of is Ivan Major. Did Tony Barry Briggs did it? I think
maybe. Did Tony? But that's a different.
Hans Nielsen, Eric Gunson, they both did it.
Different kettle of fish in those days.
Tony Riccarton didn't. Tony Riccarton had to wait 3 or 4 years for his second title after his first one. So,
well, it's a tough thing to do. I think it's tougher with the Grand Prix situation than it would have been in the one-off world final.
Oh yeah, without doubt. So
in that way, for that to defend it.
Barter Smalslick's been a bit of a disappointment so far. Another one who you thought would have been.
Yeah, he had a couple of good races.
He started slowly last season, to be fair, and got better, but it was.
I mean, he's the one everybody's sort of waiting to really go for it, aren't they? Because he feels like such a talent.
I think so. Yeah. To be fair, I think in the last 12 months, I would say Patrick Dudek's probably ahead of him now. To me, he looks the best bet to be Poland's next champion. Yeah,
well, he's still going strong. That's 2 seasons on the track now. And
not phased him at all. So, but no, it's.
But at this point, you've got to say it's looking like a race between Freddie Lindgren and Ty Woffenden, isn't it?
That's right.
Moment. I mean, Ty Woffenden just looked in a different at the beginning of the great Grand Prix.
He'd always rides Prague well. To be fair, he's got a pretty good record. So.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like he was in a different class to everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a pretty good record of riders who win at Prague quite often go on to win the World Championship, so it might be a lucky omen for Freddie that he's won there. So
we'll have to ask our eager beavers out there to see if you can find that out for us. We've got a few messages on this actually. Graham Darlington said Nicky looked for it and Magic tried to cut back but messed up. As for the final, look at lines others took out of the bend and there is no difference. Hard but fair, which is what that level is now.
Well, that's right.
That's exactly what
So,
you
I've said, you know,
saying.
you've in the World Championship, you've got to be prepared to be a bit ruthless.
Paul Wood said, "Have you got the dust out of your hair after Sunday?" My life, it was dusty at Leicester.
There
It
you
was,
go, so-
oh, you wouldn't have seen anything.
Did you think you
There,
were right?
there was one decision that the referee, we all felt it should have been all four back, and the referee just let it carry on. And we're convinced that he actually didn't see that. I can't remember who it was now. I think it might have been Daniel Newham.
Yeah.
Well, I think we were convinced the referee just didn't see him fall off. There was so much dust there. Graham Darlington says they were both correct calls by the referee. Can you explain how Paul Stark 5.08 replaced Stefan Nielsen 3.69 last night and isn't declared as a new signing, but Nikolai Clint is coming in soon?
That's the BSBA.
Well, that explains.
That seems to be the answer,
That's
doesn't it?
explained it, isn't it?
I knew that Paul had signed Nikolai, but it wasn't in time for him to ride last night. So
The only thing that I can think that could be is I presume is that Paul, is that?
yeah.
Yeah. Maybe their averages have gone down so that there was space for a 5-point average there for him to do that. It might have been that.
I know Paul haven't had the best of starts to the season. So
And nearly did you.
They nearly-
nearly did you.
they should have done, really, to be fair,
Yeah.
but I'm sure we'll come on to that later. So.
Yeah, we're absolutely. Yeah.
Can I just quickly interject?
Interject.
What does that mean?
Into something.
I was wondering what you had that dictionary there.
If you are listening on the chat box on the website, I'm afraid the chat box has gone down, so there isn't one.
Oh.
Okay, you can still
Is
listen. You
that
can still
because
listen.
We're not allowed to have one on Tuesdays. Is
I
that
don't know what it is, but it's gone down. I can't get it back.
Yeah, you did
so-
pay the bill. Didn't you? So-
Yeah. So the only way you can
Take part?
take part, that's what I'm looking for,
Yeah.
it is on the Facebook
On the
page, I'm
Facebook
afraid.
page.
You can still listen to us on the website. So.
Have we not got a Twitter page as well?
We've got a Twitter page, yeah.
So that
Yeah.
there's that, and
Twitter page.
we'll have to give out your phone number.
It's on there.
Okay, so there's
There
that
you
as
go.
well.
It's on there.
So there's that as well. You can
Yeah.
text as
You
well.
can message.
Graham Darlington said he isn't declared a new signing, so he was a guest. And Lee Morris said Pennell for some reason. Maybe he could explain that.
Is that a reference to 82, maybe, with the Pennell Carter?
Mate, well, we could
Let's
come on
not
to
open a can of worms there.
my
shall we?
life.
I've got my own-
actually, that would be a good subject to bring up.
I've got my own views on that incident. I've seen that many times.
Yeah, well, tell me. Come on, you've opened
I'd
it
have
up
excluded them both, to be honest.
now. Can you do that? I suppose you can.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
They were as bad as each other in that
Yeah,
race. I mean, they
particularly
just,
coming out of the.
Yeah.
I mean, they were looking for each other,
Yeah.
weren't they? Both of
in
them.
fairness, if you watch the race, Carter was faster than Pennell. He should have just passed him and then
Yeah.
just cleared off
Yeah.
instead of just trying to pay back on him. But we know that they weren't exactly the best of friends.
I know even now
Yeah.
he hasn't got. Bruce Pennell hasn't got a kind word, mind you, after what happened. I don't suppose anybody has, but
Well, there is. Yeah. In fairness, when you look at that final, I think the real loser was probably Les Collins, because he rode terrifically in that final, didn't he? So
he did. Yeah, well, he did lose out because of it,
Yeah.
didn't he? Because of anyway. Will Dan Bewley win the British final and be the Cardiff wild card? Will he win the British final?
he's a good outside bet. I mean, he knows the track pretty well now. The good thing about Dan Beale, especially when I saw him a few weeks ago at Bellevue, one of the criticisms has been that he's all at the start. But
Yes,
he can
that's
pass
one
now.
of the criticisms that I gave right from the first.
But he can pass now. He's got some very good overtaking.
No, I have
moves, so,
seen that.
Yeah.
He's come on a bundle, and he was pretty good then.
I think him and Robert Lambert, I think, are going to be pretty good shouts for the British title. I'm not so sure about Craig Cook, because he's not had a particularly good start to the season.
No,
In fairness,
although he has picked up just recently.
he's picked up a little bit, yeah. But
Cardiff wildcard. Who do you think? I mean, is it going to be the British champion?
it is going to be the British
It
champion,
is
isn't it?
gonna
Unless
be
they
the
change it
British-
again. So.
Well, they do change it most. They
Yeah.
seem to change it every year. So I'll watch this space on that one. Well, I think it's time to put everybody out of their suspenders and
What?
choose
put them in the suspenders. That'd be more interesting, wouldn't it?
Well,
Well, depending on who
It might take us off air, mind you, but
You've seen my holiday flicks, then.
if it's you that's in them, it might send me to the bucket. Shall we choose the shares then?
We're going to do it now, then.
To our
Okay.
raffle thing,
Okay.
yeah?
So I've put competition draws at 8:45 p.m. But you want to do it now?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. You'd done that.
17.
You didn't.
Are you
Give
watching
me
the
the
show?
information for goodness sake, give me the information.
Were you not here at the production meeting?
We have production meetings now.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Me and Matt do because you're always late. You see. So
Right, well, let's have a chat about... Well, there's been 2 matches, so we'll start off with the Birmingham match. By the way, if you look in the Dropbox, there is an interview for you to play.
ha ha ha.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I'll do that after Leon Flint. See, you missed the production meeting, didn't you?
what are you talking about?
We're going to interview him.
I didn't know that.
No, you didn't, did you?
You should give... Yeah. Well, you can interview him then.
Did
Okay,
you not-
well, we'll talk about Sunday's match then.
Okay.
And we'll
and I'll get him up.
get Leon
Yep.
on the... Brilliant. First of all, I love beating Coventry. It did feel a little bit like kicking the man when he was
it
down.
didn't feel the same, did it? I suppose
No,
not really.
it's
That led
not.
Leicester, so
It hasn't quite got the same feeling.
were
about
there,
it.
were there many Coventry fans there?
Well, there were people there.
Yeah,
I couldn't
that's not what I
tell-
asked you, sir.
Yeah, I couldn't tell whether they were Coventry fans or not because there wasn't really much
Yeah.
Coventry clothes, scarves somewhere. I didn't see much. There was the loudest supporters, as always, and
Yeah.
it was the Birmingham supporters. We made most noise. It was, I think, Chris Simpson was enjoying reacquainting himself with the Birmingham crowd.
I gather he upset Mick Horton by doing a Brummie's war cry.
He did do a Brummie's war cry. I
Yeah.
don't know what to say. I think I think it was just for old time's sake.
Joking aside,
Not until we'd won though. Not during the match.
Well,
It wasn't until the end of the match.
Yeah.
So
well, joking aside, I think that's a terrific win for Birmingham because Coventry have been going quite well.
we were very unlucky not to get
The 4
the
points.
4 points because we had a couple of falls and it was Leon's fall that was because he was winning the race and he looped on
Yeah.
the last bend and just got too much grip and looped.
Is that the first time you've been to Leicester?
We'll ask him.
No, you.
Oh, me? Yes,
Yeah.
first time I've been to Leicester. Yes,
What did you make of the track?
very thin,
Yeah.
very narrow.
It's not very good shape, is it, to be fair, so-
pointy corners.
Yeah.
Looks sort of as if it's been squashed together.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a shame, really, because it's a really lovely little venue.
it's a nice
Really
little
small
facility,
venue,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I just can't help thinking they could have designed the track a lot better, to be honest.
Yeah, they had a
So,
blank sheet, didn't they? There was
yeah.
room there to make it wider.
Yeah. Same with
Yeah.
Newport, to be fair, when they reopened. But,
I thought Newport was quite a nice shape, to be fair. I saw some good racing at
Mm.
Newport. I miss that place because we used to win. Well, it was a good win. It was. It never looked
Mhm.
in doubt, to be honest, right from the start. I mean, we were the only team winning races. Okay, well, lots of 3-3s going on, but if you're winning races, at some point it's gonna tap pay, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there is that, yeah. So,
It would be interesting. I haven't looked at this, and I should have done actually. It would have been interesting to see if Lane Cupid had been there, whether we still would have won. Possibly would have, because I think Leon Flint would have still had 7 rides.
what did Birmingham get from Lane Cupid's rides?
Well, that's why I said I should have looked at it.
Yeah.
So somebody out there will tell us, I'm sure. But the worst thing was the track.
Yeah.
It was so dusty. I was getting texts from people in Birmingham saying, "My God, the rain, it's terrible."
Yeah.
It was a beautiful sunny day just down the road in Leicester and so dry. And it was. I've been to Rye House when Rye House was Dry House.
Yeah.
But I was never seen anything as bad as this. It was okay at the start.
Yeah.
So they had watered it properly and everything. It was okay at the start, but obviously, it was very sunny and the rest of it, and it dried off fairly quickly. And then when they had the interval at 8:12, he came out and put water on the outside of the track and not on the inside. And nobody was riding on the outside; everybody was riding on the inside. So it was a bit pointless, really.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually, the outside of the bend seems to be a bit pointless at Leicester, apart from perhaps on the first lap.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to criticise it too much because it was only my first match, and it was, very dusty and very slick.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the shape of the track did.
Leon's not online at the moment, so I'll try again in a bit.
Okay. You're telling me lies, aren't you? That's what it is. That's what it is. So, but yeah, we actually went away slightly disappointed that we hadn't got the 4 points.
Yeah.
Some great things that did happen was that after the match, I was talking to some friends, some Aston Villa supporters. Actually, I'm sorry about that.
Hang on.
Well, that's definitely a red card.
Hey.
Oh dear. And I said to them, this would never happen in football. And they said, what? I said, well, after the match, they all came into the crowd. The whole team came into the crowd, onto the terraces, and walked round and shook everybody's hands and so on, which was really nice. It's all about... They're really trying hard to build up a rapport, and it's all about getting bums on seats, I suppose.
Not so sure they'd do that in the top 2 leagues, to be fair, if I'm honest, but not to that extent. But
I don't know. Well, I think in Speedway they probably... Well, whether they would, they could.
They could do, but...
there's no reason at all for them not to. It's not the same atmosphere as in a football match, which is very... what's the word? I can't think what the word is, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that was interesting. That was nice, and we got an interview with Lawrence Rogers when he was actually on the terraces with us with the riders. That's when we took the interview. I do believe we have our friend Leon. So we're just going to press a few buttons.
Put the cans on.
Okay, and hopefully, fingers crossed, if all goes well, we have Leon Flint on the line. Are you there, Leon?
Hello.
Fantastic, it's working just for once. Leon, so are you enjoying your time at Birmingham?
Yeah, it's been great. I couldn't have really went to a better club for my first year of professional racing, and I'm loving it.
I think it's fair to say that all the supporters have sort of taken you to their heart.
It's nice to be welcomed by the fans. It makes the Speedway rider's job a lot easier when you can go to a track and feel welcomed, and you know that you've got the support behind you.
Fantastic. And was that I was asked a question earlier and I didn't know the answer, so perhaps you can help me out. Was that your first time that you've ridden at Leicester on Sunday?
No. I've rode there quite a lot of times, like on my 250 and 125. My first ever proper meeting on a 500 was there last year at the British Championship, and I went on. I think I went unbeaten in the races and then lost out in the final.
Yeah. Okay. So as everybody knows, you've achieved the grand old age of 15. Perhaps you could run through how it was that you became interested in Speedway and how you became a Speedway rider.
Well, I started riding bikes at the age of 3, and my dad used to ride Speedway when he was about my age, and he stopped around the time I was born. But when I started riding, I always used to go out before the meeting at Berwick and stuff, and just ride around, on my little motocross bike. And it wasn't until Andrew Tully gave me I think it was a Yamaha 90 or something, and I totally loved that. And and then I think it was a year later, Ricky Ashworth came to Berwick for some practice day with us, a full track plus 125 Speedway bike. And if you ever wonder why I've got Ashworth Racing on the back of me, that's why. And he's the one that basically kind of kicked it all off for me.
Okay, so was a good win for the lads against Coventry on Sunday. I'm guessing you and the lads, their idea now is that it's the job just half done at the moment.
And yeah, I mean, there's still a lot to work on. Don't get me wrong, it was great to go there and get the win, but it would have been nice to get the 4 points. I kind of threw away a few points. I mean, with me coming off and just kind of giving up positions that I shouldn't have really gave up. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I did too bad considering that's one of the tracks that I feel like I don't exactly go that well. But yeah, just looking forward to tomorrow, really.
Yeah, we're sort of laughing at you in the studio when you said that because we all feel that you did absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah.
So
harsh critics.
Yeah. So we have Coventry on Wednesday, so that's the return. I guess that the feeling in the camp's got to be. I would have thought that just because we beat them at Leicester, they could easily come back stronger, and there are a lot of riders in that Coventry scene that like our track.
Well, I think everybody likes the Birmingham track. Yeah, I mean, the pressure isn't on us; it's on them to, kind of come back at us. We all know we're a good team. We all know that we can score points. Yeah, we just need to keep our composure again and just go and get the job done.
Have you set any personal goals for this year, Leon?
Well, I would like to, get in the main body of the team. The way it's going, I think that will happen. Once that happens, I'll just have to look, onto the next goal, really. I mean, it's just baby steps for me at the moment.
I think looking at the averages, you have to be careful you don't end up at number
one. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, which would be interesting. The last person that did that at Birmingham was Zach Vitanek, I think.
I think he might have been,
I think he did that as well.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad
tough act to follow. So
that's not a bad footstep to follow in.
Yeah. We'll just have to see, really. The biggest thing is for me is just to enjoy my race and not put any pressure on me. And just enjoy my riding. Absolutely.
Talking about pressure and things like that, I think it would be remiss of me not to talk about the unfortunate incident with Mitchell Davey.
It was a bit hard for me. And, it's not what any 15-year-old should see to one of the best pals. It's just great to see the support he's had from everyone and just, see how close the Speedway family actually is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. As we was talking about that.
Yeah, it sounds like it's drawn the Brummies close together, doesn't it?
I think it has. And I was talking to Lawrence on Sunday, and he said as soon as he gets the chance, he wants to come, down to the track, and he says it'd be good to have the skip back, and I'm sure everybody feels that way. Do you know how he is at the moment? Have you spoke to him recently?
He's in high spirits. He's a lot better than what he was. But he just needs to rest. Hopefully he'll be back soon.
Well, send him our best wishes from the radio show, Leon. We're thinking about him all the time. Right. So I'm wondering now. So you're talking about. We was talking about targets and so on. I imagine that long-term targets obviously are getting into the top tier.
I mean, this year is just going to be enjoying my racing and just seeing what will be lined up for next year. I can't stress it enough that I'm just going to keep my 2 feet on the ground and just take baby steps and just see how things go.
I think at this stage, Leon, you just really want to enjoy your racing, don't you? There's no pressure on you to sort of break records or win major trophies. You just about enjoying your racing and learning all the time.
Are you still there, Leon?
Yep, hello.
Yeah, it's all right.
We just lost you for a second.
Yeah, we had a little technical hitch then. We lost you for a second. But
pull the plug out.
Pull the plug out, basically. Which is never a good thing. Okay, well, the relates. Yeah, we've had a question thrown at us. Do you know of any other riders of your sort of age, up-and-coming riders around at the moment?
Oh, there's plenty. There's Harry McGurk that just came on the 500 this year, and he's going well. There's Jordan Palin that's getting international experience in Germany on his 250. There's Nathan Albert that's going really well in the 250 class in Britain. There's Drew Kemp, there's Jason Edwards, there's loads of people. People normally say about like how Poland's got it all sorted and their juniors are just 100 times better than everyone. But from my experience, seeing kind of their development and stuff, I'm 100% sure that in a couple of years' time, Britain will be 100 times better than any country.
I mean that's nice to hear. I mean, it's something I think we've been commenting on over the past couple of years, that we feel that there's a sort of turning point at the moment, and there seems to be a lot of. I mean, obviously there's people like Dan Bewley and Zach Vitanek and all these people that have come through, and there seems to be, I mean, yourself and other people coming up from, I don't know where they're coming up from. I imagine that Neil Vatcher and people have had a big part in this.
Yeah, I mean, without Neil, I wouldn't have been able to get any continental experience. People don't actually realise how much graft he puts in, to help us juniors. I mean, he's getting absolutely nothing for it, and if we had more people like him, British Speedway would just be 100 times better.
I'm into that. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, Leon, thank you very, very much for coming on tonight. You've got an open invitation, mate, to come on anytime you like, and you just keep on enjoying your Speedway, because I tell you what, we're really enjoying watching you.
Thank you very much.
Well, you take care, mate.
Cheers, Leon.
Right, thank you.
See you soon. Bye bye. What a nice lad.
Yeah, very level-headed, isn't he? So
Absolutely.
And it's still hard to believe he's 15.
15, I know. What do you say?
I know, yeah.
Yes, future of British Speedway, and it's lovely to hear, the positive thoughts about the people coming up. I mean, 3 people rolled off his tongue like that.
That's right.
So perhaps the future isn't as bad.
And excited about his sport as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's come over and level-headed about it. Right, well, have we got time to talk about Wolverhampton? No, okay.
Susan Jordan just said, Leon's such a lovely lad. Good luck, enjoy it, man.
There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, okay, we will talk a little bit about last night's match, because it must have been quite exciting.
Big
crowd as well, I understand.
Very big crowd, yeah. The queue for the turnstiles was right back to almost to the car park entrance, which is quite a while since I've been to Mumma Green and I've seen a queue that long. There was never more than 4 points in the meeting. If I'm being honest, Paul really threw it away. They were the better side on the night. They probably did deserve to win the meeting, but they're really catastrophic. Final heat, Brady Kurtz touching the tapes, and then Linus Sundstrom getting excluded for leaving the track, which I don't think...
I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that before now, so it's... but these rules are there, and they're supposed to be told this. Apparently he did say he didn't knew the rule was there, so he thought the pool management might have
ignorance
told him that. The real hero for Paul was Casper Werner. He was terrific. He didn't start very well, but he ended up scoring 13, and he gave absolutely everything in that final heat. Paul needed a 3-all to take the win, or for him to split the 2 Wolves riders to get the draw, and of course it was a 5-1. So Paul Wolves just getting the points. Paul getting a point, which was certainly the very least they deserved.
Yeah.
Looking down the scorers for Wolves: Jakob Torsell 9, Carl Howarth 7, Cameron Heaps still struggling, just the 1 point for him. Sam Masters 8, Rory Schlein 12. Nathan Graves 6-1, Ashley Morris 3-2, and for Paul, Brady Kurtz 7, Linus Sundstrom 9, Josh Grasnick 6. Josh Grasnick doesn't normally ride Mumma Green very well, to be honest, but he rode a bit better than last night. Paul Stark 1. That was a bit of a surprise, because Paul Stark normally rides Mumma Green quite well. He's got obviously quite a bit of experience. Thank you, Barman. Got quite a bit of experience from riding for Cradley at Mumma. Richie Worrell 7, Matthias Shepaniak. Disappointing, he only scored 1, and Casper Werner, as I say, really the big hero for Paul, 13 and 2. So, big crowd. To be fair, the closer to the scoreline probably did save the meeting because quite a lot of the races were a bit processional. The last 3 races were terrific. There was some really good racing in the last 3 races. But big crowd. Obviously, the club's celebrating the 90th anniversary, so there was a lot of extra little exhibitions and things like that there. So it was a good night for everybody, and obviously an important win to keep Wolves at the top of the Premiership table.
We've got an answer to a question you asked earlier.
What was that?
9 winners of Prague went on to win the title that year.
9 winners. I'm trying to think. Prague's just about 20 years since the last first one at Prague, so that's not a bad record. So
I'm sure Freddie Linger will go, okay, give it me now.
I think don't think it's going to be quite as simple as that, but
right. So I imagine it was a good atmosphere with all the.
Yeah, it was a very good atmosphere, especially towards the end as the comeback was on, and yeah, there was
I suppose a bit of a payback really, because you will have felt going to Poole that you deserved more out of that match.
Yeah, I think
you threw away an 8-point lead at one point, didn't you?
Yeah, it was not the first time we've done it this season, to be fair, because we did it at Rye House as well a few weeks earlier. Yeah, I mean, Poole had a tough start to the season. In fairness, they're still bottom of the table, but if they can show that sort of spirit, then there's no reason why they won't soon start to climb the table. But it was important. I mean, as I said last week, Wolves' away records, they're obviously picking up points here and there, but not able to get any wins, and it's absolutely crucial not to lose any home meetings and drop too many points at a time. That's the first point. Well, not Wolves. Wolves haven't dropped any points down. They've still got the 3 points, but Poole obviously getting the 1 point as a consolation. So you don't really want to be losing too many home meetings if you can help it. At least then you've got the away meetings. Points where you've got the away meetings.
Don't want to lose any home meetings.
That's right.
Is the truth of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Well, I suppose it's the time. It's the time. We should have. We should have a fanfare for this.
Oh no, I haven't got one.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we've got a fanfare. Right,
I've got something got crowds.
You see, you should have had me in the production meeting.
That's the closest you're going to get.
Right. Okay. I'll explain to you later what a fanfare actually is.
I know what a fanfare is.
Yeah.
So we're getting the cop out.
Yeah.
And we'll let Matt do the honours.
Put it up here so you can't. No cheating whatsoever.
His hands going into the hat, and his port. Does it say Matt Buck?
It says Tony Flint.
Tony Flint.
Tony Flint. His relative.
I've no idea, but
If you want to verify it,
Tony Flint, we will be sorting you out.
Yeah.
T-shirt. You're gonna
Contact the page.
Yep. Contact the page.
Yeah, contact the page.
Yep.
Message me on the page, and all I need is your size and your address.
There you go.
Yep.
And if Tony's not listening and somebody knows where he is, then
Somebody from
let
Flint.
him know.
does he exist? I hope so.
Spooky, isn't it?
It is a bit, isn't it? Is that the only name in there? Is that what?
Yeah.
Right. So one of the reasons that we've
I had visions of pulling it out and it saying Chris Browne on it.
Yeah, next week you, and the next week
I don't want
and then all our family.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Ex-girlfriends. Well, no.
in other news,
It's not around that road, so.
one of the reasons we decided to move to a Tuesday so that we can preview the coming meetings. So that's what we're going to do now.
Yep.
So
The derby tomorrow, of course.
so the return leg against Coventry. Why should people go and watch it? Well, it's Coventry.
Yep.
I think although we beat Coventry, as you said, it was a good win, and I
Yep.
know we beat them in that challenge match earlier in the year, but
In very difficult conditions.
yeah, I don't think we can
Mm-hmm.
look at that really. I think it's a pretty tough match. Connor Mountain for a start-off is going to be worth.
He rides Perry Bar. He's come on well in the last couple of years. I think
Yeah,
he
and
does ride
rides
Perry Bar
and
well.
he rides
So.
Perry Bar. It's one of
Well, the only one in the
favourite
Coventry team that doesn't seem to ride Perry Bar that well is John Armstrong.
John
He
Armstrong, yeah.
Didn't he ride? He did have a
He
short spell
rode
with
for us in 2007. He replaced Collins.
Aidan Collins.
Aidan Collins,
Yep.
that was it, yeah. And I had a chat with him coming back from the pits. He had one good meeting for us, which was the Sheffield match.
Yeah.
On God, I am.
Was that the Sky? Geek. Was that the Sky match?
It was the Sky match, yeah, and it was the
wettest, one of the wettest meetings ever.
Yeah, so. Terrible. And I happened to. He was walking to the pits one time, and I was having a chat with him, and he said, "I can't get a hold of this track. I don't know how to ride this track." Talking about Perry Bar.
Yeah,
it's like the only rider I've ever heard say that about Perry Bar.
It's surprising, really, because it's not really that difficult a track to ride. I don't think.
You would think it would suit him, to be honest, but he couldn't. He had a mental block or something, so he's never rode it very well. But this might, but maybe tomorrow will be the.
No, he cracks it, so
let's hope not. So I mean, I think the battles with Connor Mountain and Tom Bacon and Daniel Hume, JPB and Liam Flint.
Yeah.
People talk about us having 3 good heat leaders. I actually think we've got 4 good heat leaders. That's going to be worth the admission price. Yeah. I think it might be closer than people are expecting, and I think we're going to have to go some to stop Coventry from getting the points, and we need to stop Coventry from getting the points.
Well, Coventry are a playoff rival, aren't they? So
yeah, well, they are more so than Cradley at the moment because of them taking the points off Cradley, and that's why that 4 points would have been so important if we'd got it on Sunday, and why not letting them go away with the point. We go top of the league, of course, should we win.
Yeah. Next couple of meetings for Birmingham are going to be quite tough, aren't they?
Eastbourne's the next one. We'll talk about a little bit more about that next Tuesday. But Eastbourne's going to be because they're really going better than perhaps some people expected them to be going, including away from home.
That's right. I think at the moment you're looking at Birmingham, Coventry, Eastbourne, and Mildenhall has been there. Obviously, Cradley obviously not competing in the league, but they look the 4 sides at the moment. So
Cradley seem to be self-combusting.
Yeah, they do a little bit. Yeah, I don't know whether it's hard to motivate them because obviously it's really a fantasy team. It's not a proper team, is it? Maybe it's a bit of a. Someone's messing about again.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a fantasy team, isn't it? Almost. I don't know, but. Yeah, I think
that will be an interesting match when they come to Birmingham because they will need to win that match.
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
So that's going to be, and it's also going to be interesting to see how the team performs once Leon goes into the main body of the team. We don't have that advantage of giving him 7 rides.
Who's going to drop into reserve? It'll be Lancaster, won't it?
Or Callum might be Callum, mightn't it? Callum Walker.
Possibly. It's one of the two, I think. So.
Yeah, I know which one I would rather go into reserve. But we perhaps off air.
Tom Bacon.
Well, Tom Bacon. I've got to be honest. When Tom Bacon was signed, I think he was our first signing at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It was immediately obvious as soon as you looked at it that JPB wasn't going to be signing when they signed him because just looking at the averages, it just and there were a lot of people disappointed with that, and a lot of people said well, I'd rather have had JPB than Tom. I mean, this is just the way people talk. And I think they've been proven wrong.
Oh yeah, without doubt.
I think Tom Bacon's come on. He's not the same rider that could just gate and go, and then a bit like Dan Bewley, he has discovered how to get past riders now, particularly at this level.
Yeah, do you think it's given him a sense as well, the fact that he's now obviously not in the ideal circumstances, he's been made captain, so that's giving him that extra level of responsibility.
Very professional the way he goes about things.
Susan Jordan says, could it be Leon's dad? With a question mark. So
I don't know.
Maybe.
Is it Leon's dad? Is there anybody out there that? Because I want to see him wearing the t-shirt.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. And Wendy Jane Barnett says, our friend Wendy, let's hope the weather forecast is completely wrong for tomorrow.
Okay, I haven't looked at the weather forecast.
I haven't seen the forecast.
I'm guessing it's bad.
Well, I doubt it's going to be snowing, to be fair. But.
No. It is certainly. It's very sticky and hot, and coming back from Leicester on Sunday, we could see we was heading into rain, but I wasn't quite sure. Didn't quite guess how much rain we was heading back into, because we was on the M6 and the M6 just literally in the space of about 30 seconds turned into a river.
Considering the amount that came down on the Saturday night, I wasn't surprised there was any more left in the sky to come down.
Well, quite, but it literally turned into a river and everybody had to stop.
Yeah.
Everybody just stopped on the M6 because they couldn't go on. And then 5 minutes later it went away and the water went away and it was fine again. It was the weirdest situation I've ever seen in my life. I thought I was going to have to get a canoe out, that's something, you know. Anyway, so Wolverhampton, you got a match next week?
Nope.
No.
Next home meeting is in a couple of weeks' time, because of course next week's the Speedway League of Nations starts.
Oh, of course. Well, perhaps we should talk a little bit about that. Actually, that would be. I'm trying to remember who we've got in.
I'm trying to remember myself. I'll just if I can get it.
You're trying to Google it. That's what you're trying to do. Very quickly. Continue sharing the show, and as we said before, you go into the hat and you can.
Although it's not really a hat, is it?
It's more of a tin cup, really, isn't
Yep.
it?
I didn't say tin. It's solid gold.
It's not. What, white gold?
Yeah.
No, we're not talking about your microphone.
You keep sharing, guys, and it'll go into.
So it starts on Saturday
into the hat.
in Germany. Tetro, Germany, Denmark, Russia, Ukraine, USA, Slovenia and Latvia. And of course the top three from that one qualify for the final.
Mm-hmm.
So you certainly would have to look at Denmark and Russia and Germany, I think, for that one. Then of course the second one is at Bellevue next Tuesday. Great Britain, Sweden, Czech Republic, France, Italy, Australia and Finland.
So it's going to be Australia, Sweden.
Yeah. And of course we've picked Ty and Craig Cook.
We
as the
haven't
top
mentioned that actually. I mean, it's good to have Ty back.
Yeah.
Whatever you thought about that.
I'm not certain I would have picked Craig Cook, to be honest.
Well, we said that last week, didn't we?
I would have gone for Robert Lambert myself as the second rider.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he'll prove us wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to get behind them. What do you think about this Speedway of Nations as an idea?
It's going to be different, isn't it? It's going to be. I think maybe it makes a refreshing change, I suppose, in a sense, because obviously the World Cup in the last few years has been a bit predictable.
It's been a bit Poland.
It's been a bit Poland, yes. Denmark occasionally nipping in, but by and large it's been
so
Poland.
How does it differ? What's
it's a pairs meeting
It's a pairs
rather
meeting.
than fours.
So there's more. The idea is that there are more nations involved because of it.
Well, I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea not to have the World Cup every year anyway, because it just makes it
more of an
into
event,
just
doesn't
another.
it?
It's just another meeting. It's not an
Yeah.
occasion as such, is it?
Yeah.
So I think all that is good.
Of course, I forgot it's effectively a 2-day final as well, isn't it? The first one's on the Friday and the second one's on the Saturday in Wrocław. So a bit like Amsterdam with the World Final in '87. That was 2 days, wasn't it? What a mistake that was.
Yes. Graham Darlington says Bewley should come in for Cook, who clearly has issues again. Well, I mean, you wouldn't put Bewley in the team, would you?
I'd have him at reserve.
Yeah, got to be at reserve.
But he could be a trump card, because I think he's going to be fearless if he goes into that.
Oh, of course he
sort
is.
of meeting.
Yeah, particularly. I mean, he'll be comfortable around Bellevue anyway. Yeah. But he's in the best. He's in the best place as reserve. You know, you don't want to put him in the team.
Yeah, and obviously it's at his home track as well. So, looking forward to that one. That's going to be quite. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it, to be honest.
Is it on the box?
Yes.
Good.
I think all of them are on, aren't they? Because Saturdays he's on.
Right. Okay.
I believe so. In Germany.
No, where I won't be doing weekend because I'm going on holiday.
Oh dear.
There's be quite a few meetings that are streamed.
Poland, obviously.
Yeah,
Poland do a few,
Polish
Sweden
games,
do a few.
Good stuff.
We don't so much.
No.
Right, well, we're coming up to that time of the night. I hope you've enjoyed the switch to Tuesday. Get lots of you coming down to Perry Bar tomorrow. Mr. Flint.
Yeah. And Tony.
I mean, if we know that it's Leon's dad, I could take it to him tomorrow if we knew.
Yeah.
But I don't. So.
Is he a big lad? I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, right. Okay.
I don't know. So hey, watch this space. Right. Well, lots and lots of shares going on. That's fantastic. All going in the hat. Get your T-shirt next week. Next week we're going to have somebody with the surname of Hume or something.
And then people will start switching.
Yeah. Or Rogers.
Rogers, yeah.
Or Harris.
We didn't play Lawrence Rogers' interview. You could find it. We've got time to play it.
If you talk amongst yourselves for a bit, I'll
We'll talk amongst
try.
ourselves. Yeah, so that just to sort of set the scene, all the lads came into the crowd at the end of the match, as I said earlier, and Lawrence Rogers was there as well. And so I grabbed hold of him,
Literally.
figuratively,
Yeah.
and we had a little interview, and you can hear the sort of excitement of some of the kids and people going on as the riders are coming round and shaking hands and so on. It's
I've got it. I found it, but I've just got it. I have to download it, so you have to hang on a bit.
okay, that's fine. So you should have had me in the production meeting, really, shouldn't you? That's the be all and end all of it.
Well, you were invited, you just turned the lights.
How was I
Well, I
invited?
could do
By
it that
snail
way.
mail? or-
Yeah. You'll get the letter tomorrow.
Yeah. No doubt, no doubt. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's meeting, actually. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be, I mean, I don't know what the weather forecast is, but we don't talk about weather forecasts on this programme. Yeah, the weather will be what it'll be, and we'll find out when we find out.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, so I'm standing at Leicester Speedway after the Coventry match with Lawrence Rogers. Good win for the lads.
Excellent win for the lads. You know, they were all working hard on it, and you know, it'd be nice to get the 4 points. We only got 3, but you know, that puts us back top of that table. And I said the Coventry matches were going to be the most important ones, and now Wednesday becomes really important to get that win as well. Get qualification for that final.
Possibly more important than you envisaged with them going to Cradley and beating Cradley.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, I was there watching that, and you know, it was a good show by Coventry. But I thought we had the beating of them today.
Yeah, I think right from the start, really, there was only ever going to be one winner.
You know, and lucky on Leon in that one where he lifted, and I said to him, if you landed a few more feet forward, you might have got the points. But
And we'd have got the 4 points then as well.
Exactly,
of course.
yeah.
So, looking forward now to Thursday. As you said, it's
Wednesday.
Beg your pardon.
Don't come Thursday, we're not there.
As you say, it's another really, really important match.
Very, very important, yeah. You know, and the crowd was up last week, which is good to see, and hopefully they'll be up again this Wednesday.
I hope so. Well, why wouldn't it be with a match like that in prospect?
Yeah, well, I think we're the only unbeaten team in British Speedway at the moment,
I think that's true, yeah.
which is a great record. 7 meetings, 7 wins.
Mainly because we keep beating everybody.
Absolutely. Well, you know, it's one hell of a team, and JPB's come back, and you know, it looks like he's not been away.
Exactly right. That's exactly what we were saying actually on the terraces today. It looked like he'd not been away. He was really comfortable on the bike. And
Well, Mitch was talking to the boys on the WhatsApp group thing before. You know, he'll be chuffed to beans. Because, you know, he'll be sitting there watching those updates, going, "Yeah, come on, my boys." You know.
well, I mean, send Mitch all our best wishes. We do talk about him. We do think about him all the time. We've been talking about him tonight.
Well, as soon as he's fitted up, he and John are coming down to watch a meeting. So as soon as he can travel, the skipper will be down.
Well, that'll be brilliant. Thanks very much, Lawrence, and good luck on Wednesday.
Thank you
not
very much.
Thursday.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You can hear the excitement going on in the background.
One thing I will say about Lawrence Rogers is he goes to watch an awful lot of mains, doesn't he? So,
I've got to be honest, I've got nothing but good things to say about him. I think he's...
no, without wishing to be
he's-
too critical of Graham Drury, you never saw him going to other meetings, did you? So,
No, and interacting. And I'm not being
I'm knocking him,
critical
obviously,
of,
so
of Graham
obviously,
because,
yeah,
you know,
so-
without Graham, that wouldn't survived as long as we did. But yeah, I mean, I just like the way he interacts with the fans, and yeah, and I think it's important. I think that's starting to show dividends now.
yeah.
I think his enthusiasm really does confection.
I think he's enjoying being Pab Romers.
Yeah,
What?
absolutely. Must be, especially after travelling to Plymouth every week last year. So it's a long old slog from Walsall. So.
Yeah, he just chose the wrong red and yellow team,
Yeah.
didn't he? Obviously. Right. Okay. And on that note, hopefully see a few of you tomorrow.
Yep.
Hope for another good Brummies win. See you all soon, and no more injuries.